Various reports today are stating that Harry Kane is wanted by Real Madrid and Daniel Levy wants between 100 and 200 million pounds if he is to leave the club this summer. Ange Postecoglou has spoken out about the Spurs speculation. Reports are stating that Spurs are interested in Celtic striker Furuhashi, and he could be available for Tottenham for around £30 million. And club captain Hugo Lloris has come out and said it's the end of an era. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're all keeping well. This is another edition of Tottenham News, where I'll be going through all of the latest Spurs news, rumours and reports. If you're watching this on YouTube, please do hit the subscribe button, like, share and comment below. And if you're listening to this on an audio platform, please do hit the follow button and leave a review if you can. So let's start by talking about Harry Kane. So many reports have been published today about the Tottenham Hotspur striker and England captain. This one is from the Daily Mail and it says Real Madrid set their sights on Harry Kane as they prepare to join Manchester United in £100 million race for his signature following Benzema's exit, and Tottenham's reluctance to sell to an English rival could give the Spanish giants the edge. In the main report, it says that Real Madrid are set to test Harry Kane's resolve to become the all-time Premier League goal scorer as they plot a £100 million swoop for the Tottenham Hotspur striker. The Spanish giants have confirmed that legendary striker Benzema is departing the Bernabeu this summer, leaving Real Madrid searching for a replacement. Madrid have a long-term interest in Harry Kane and are ready to launch a bid to lure the 29-year-old to the Spanish capital ahead of next season. The report then states that sources have indicated that Tottenham chairman Daniel Levy will quote Real Madrid a minimum starting price of £100 million for Harry Kane once an inquiry lands. There is, though, believed to be room to negotiate. Manchester United also have a strong interest in Harry Kane leading into the summer transfer window, but Daniel Levy is adamant he does not want to sell his club's prize asset to a domestic rival. Later in this report, it says that Tottenham will lose Harry Kane for nothing next year if they do not sell him in the next two transfer windows. It remains to be seen whether Harry Kane would give serious consideration to leaving England for Spain. The prolific forward has set his sights on breaking Alan Shearer's all-time Premier League goal-scoring record of 260 goals. He is currently on 213 top-flight goals. Harry Kane and his family are known to be settled in London, and uprooting to Madrid would require deep thought, particularly with wife Kate expecting their fourth child. The Daily Express have also reported on this story, but they are stating that Daniel Levy has set a £200 million Harry Kane price tag as Real Madrid plot transfer. Spurs star Harry Kane is a transfer target for Madrid, with Benzema poised to leave the club. The Independent have also stated it is £200 million that Daniel Levy wants for the England talisman. Despite the forward entering the last year of his contract at Spurs, Real Madrid also want Kylian Mbappe, but they're eyeing Harry Kane as well, believing the two players can play together in the future. A report has just been published by TalkSport and they are stating that Tottenham are keen on Celtic striker as they close in on Celtic boss Ange Postecoglou, with Real Madrid ready to bid for Harry Kane. The report also states that Spurs want to raid Celtic for one of their key stars and not just for manager Ange Postecoglou. Spurs are looking to bring in the Australian as their replacement for former boss Antonio Conte. And if they do bring in the man who led the Scottish Giants to a historic treble this season, that may well increase the likelihood of them landing Hugo Lloris. The striker won the Golden Boot in Scotland last season, netting 27 times in 36 league games. He also scored 7 goals across the league and FA Cups as Celtic lifted all 3 trophies. The Sun newspaper have also reported on this story, and they are stating that Furuhashi could be a partner, cover or even a replacement for Harry Kane, and Tottenham are prepared to pay up to £30 million for the 28-year-old striker, who has interest from other English clubs too. A report has just been published by the Daily Mail all about Spurs target Julian Nagelsmann. It states that Nagelsmann holds talks over becoming the new Napoli manager, though the Italian side could face competition from PSG, who have also made the ex-Bayern Munich boss their first choice. It also states in this report that Chelsea had identified Nagelsmann as their first choice to be their new manager, but he turned them down, with Mauricio Pochettino being appointed instead. And Tottenham showed initial interest in Nagelsmann, but didn't follow it up, with Celtic boss Ange Postecoglou now the favourite to take charge at Spurs. Club captain Hugo Lloris has spoken out in the last couple of days, stating that he wants to leave Spurs this summer. He said, "We are coming to an important moment, whether for the club or for me. It's the end of an era. I have desires for other things. I will ask myself quietly to study what will be possible." Hugo Lloris then went on to say, "But I don't forget I still have a year of contract with Tottenham, and in football that is always difficult to predict what will happen. What is essential at the moment is to recover well from my injury. I'm on vacation, but I continue to talk, to do my training. My goal is to be on top in July, and then we will see what the future holds." And lastly, on Sunday, Celtic boss Ange Postecoglou won the Scottish Cup final with Celtic, completing the domestic treble in Scotland. After the game, he had his press conference and he answered questions about his future and the Tottenham Hotspur links. This is what he had to say.
There was a moment just before you got the trophy when the fans sang your name and it felt like they were pleading with you to stay here. Did it feel like that to you?
Look, I guess I just again, I've appreciated the support I've had from day one. That I think the supporters, because of kind of the way I came into the football club, and that, let's not beat about the bush, I was a joke when I was appointed. A lot of people made fun of my appointment, but the supporters, for their own reasons, just put their collective arms around me and said, no, he's one of ours. And it was up to me then to repay that faith and trust. And I think the reason that they've felt so close to this team and so probably so close to me is because while others may have mocked, they stood behind me. And I think they deserve a lot of credit for what's happened, because it would have been easy for our supporters on the back of, the sort of reaction to my appointment. They could have been just as sceptical about it, and would have made my job a lot tougher, especially through that early period where the results weren't there. So, I think they felt part of my journey here, and they deserve to feel good about the fact that, while a lot of people ridiculed it, they stood by the person who was representing their football club, and that's what makes them special supporters. And for me, I can never. I've tried to repay that in my own way by hopefully producing a team and bringing success that they're going to be proud of. But that for me has always been the most important thing.
Those fans are now worried, and what would you say to them that you're going to go? What would you say to them about that?
I'll say to them what I said to the players, mate. Well, let's enjoy this. I deserve to enjoy this. The people around me deserve to enjoy this. Whatever other people want to focus on and talk about, I'm not going to miss enjoying this moment with, this group of people, but also I owe to my family, my friends, all of those people closest to me, that everyone works hard, makes sacrifices to enjoy these moments. And, I understand, the other people who aren't invested in it, want to ask these questions. But for me, right now, the most important thing is that, we reflect and just be in the moment of creating something special.
In fairness, though, the fans are invested in it and they're asking the questions.
Yeah, but, again, they deserve to enjoy this. They deserve to enjoy this moment, because irrespective of what happens in the future, why would you not want to enjoy this moment just for what it is? It's just something historic, yeah.
Sorry, things stand out. Do you anticipate being here next season?
I anticipate enjoying this moment for the next 24, 48 hours, as long as I can, before somebody drags me away and takes my attention away from enjoying something that's been hard-earned. So, you know, the reality of it is there's probably players in the dressing room won't be here next year. Yeah, that's the nature of football. But I want them to enjoy it. I'm going to enjoy it. And that's all I'm going to focus on for, like I said, until somebody grabs me by the collar and tells me that I have to answer certain questions. So.
Now, my thoughts on all of these stories in this episode. Let's start by talking about Celtic boss Ange Postecoglou. Of course, he has just completed the domestic treble at Celtic. Many congratulations to him. He must be extremely proud of what he's done at that football club. He's been there for 2 years. He has delivered 5 trophies for Celtic. And the most interesting thing, I've done a lot of research on Ange Postecoglou in the last couple of days because it does look like Spurs will be talking to him on Monday. He is going on holiday on Tuesday. He confirmed this on Sunday. He's going on holiday with his family on Tuesday. And talks look likely to happen on Monday with Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. Whether those are exploratory talks, whether those are talks to get a deal done and sign an agreement, sign a contract, who knows? But he has done an awful lot of interviews. He has been asked a lot of direct questions. And I tell you what, Ange Postecoglou has dealt with the media extremely well, in my opinion. One of the interviews that I watched, which was very, very interesting, is that Ange Postecoglou come out and said that people laughed at the appointment. Many fans, many Celtic fans, dissed his appointment when he was appointed 2 years ago at Celtic. And now you've got every single Celtic fan extremely worried this weekend about his possible departure. One of his players come out in the last 24 hours and said it didn't seem like it was a goodbye after the cup final on Sunday. So he hasn't actually said an official goodbye to the players. So it will be interesting to see what happens. But it's interesting now how so many Celtic fans are very worried about their manager leaving when a lot of them didn't even want him appointed only 2 years ago. But he has given them entertaining football, fantastic football to watch, and he has given them 5 trophies in 2 years. I get a lot of people saying, you know, Spurs fans being quite snobby about this possible appointment, saying, well, who is he? I've never heard of him. You know, what has he achieved? He hasn't been in the Champions League. He hasn't done this. He hasn't done that. He's actually achieved an awful lot of Celtic in the last couple of years. Yes, granted, the Scottish Premier League is nowhere near the quality of the English Premier League. It is extremely different. But he does provide entertaining football. He does always want to entertain. And there was a very good quote. I can't remember exactly the wording, but he was talking about his dad and said, I always want to provide football that would be entertaining for someone like my dad to watch. So he's all about the entertainment. I just think that this job at Tottenham is so huge. Postecoglou has got an excellent win percentage in Celtic, in Scotland. And I think this is going to be one hell of a different job. We've got so much to do this summer. Keeping players, offloading players. You've got all the loan players coming back. The job list is absolutely endless. And I think it's going to be a very different job for Postecoglou if he does come into Tottenham. But if you put yourself in the shoes of Ange Postecoglou, you are going to jump at the opportunity of Tottenham Hotspur coming in and asking you to become the first ever Australian manager to manage in the Premier League. He is extremely proud of his career to date. Although he's only managed in the Australian League and he's managed a Japan side as well. He's managed Australia national team. And now, of course, he's managed Celtic. This is going to be a huge step up for him if he does come to Tottenham Hotspur. But I do get people's concerns because I think it myself. To manage in the Scottish Premier League, there's only a couple of sides that are really going to do anything or going to really challenge for trophies in that league and domestically. So this next appointment at Tottenham, I keep saying it, and I feel like I've said it for these last few years. The appointment needs to be right. We need to go forward as a football club. I think if Daniel Levy and the board are thinking about entertaining football, I think Ange Postecoglou could be your man. But of course, to play entertaining football, you need quality players. if you are going to bring in top quality players to try and win trophies at the football club, all well and good. We need to change the way that we do things as a football club. So my opinion, I don't think it matters at the moment who comes in as manager. We need to change the way that we do things as a football club. But having said that, we have had pretty drab football since Mauricio Pochettino has left. We haven't had many games. I certainly haven't come away from any stadium, either away from home or the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and gone, wow, that was entertaining. Wow, that was fantastic. We haven't had many days like that. So if Ange Postecoglou can get Tottenham Hotspur playing super entertaining football again, I would be all up for it. But whether he will be backed in the way that a lot of us fans want him to be backed, or want any manager to come in and be backed, is another thing. Me personally, and if you watch this or listen to this on a regular basis, you will know that I wanted Pochettino back. Of course, that's not possible. He's gone to Chelsea. My next choice would have been Julian Nagelsmann. That doesn't look like that's going to happen now. So I think, and Luis Enrique as well, I think would be a good fit for Tottenham. And I think he would excite a lot of people as well. So I think that Postecoglou is probably a name that doesn't excite a lot of people. But I think if any of you are worried about this possible appointment, I would say talk to a couple of Celtic fans, because they are very, very disappointed at the moment, thinking that they are going to lose their manager, and they really don't want to lose him. But it's interesting, 2 years ago, a lot of people didn't want him at Celtic, and now they don't want him to leave. Wouldn't that be a fantastic situation if that was at Tottenham Hotspur? And let me also say as well, to add a little bit more balance on this, is that back in 2014, Mauricio Pochettino was appointed as Spurs manager. Who was excited? Who was excited about that appointment? Not many people were excited, because, of course, it's all about bringing in that big name. We've brought in a couple of big names recently. Jose Mourinho and Antonio Conte. And, I'm still baffled. I'm still shocked, disappointed, all of those things about not one of those managers bringing in a trophy, getting us over the line. So we do need to start from scratch. There is an awful lot to do at this football club. Whether a director of football will be appointed this week as well, because the days are really ticking on. The transfer window in the UK opens soon. There's a lot to do. And an interesting thing, 2 years ago when he took the Celtic job, he didn't actually take any backroom staff with him. He went alone, which is really, really unusual. And when you think back to Jose Mourinho being appointed as Spurs boss, Antonio Conte being appointed Spurs boss, that was a big thing for them. In particular, Antonio Conte, it was all about, I want to bring these certain staff members to the football club to help me, achieve success at the football club. Ange Postecoglou went on his own to Celtic 2 years ago. So if he does come to Tottenham, I've absolutely no doubt that he will probably come alone. And I wouldn't be at all surprised to see someone like Ryan Mason be Postecoglou's assistant at the football club. But there is also now talk about Spurs possibly signing the Celtic striker Furuhashi for around £30 million. I know that when a football club like Tottenham is linked to a certain manager and they're connected to a club, I know you're going to get all of the newspapers and all of the media reports start linking you with every single one of those players. But as I've said again, or as I will say again, the Scottish Premier League is very, very different to the English Premier League. And we've seen over the years, particularly since the Premier League started, a number of players coming from the Scottish leagues, and it hasn't quite worked out, particularly strikers. So that'll be interesting to see whether that happens. But of course, what an interesting situation we've got coming up this summer about Harry Kane. He has now got 1 year left on his current deal. Spurs don't want to sell him to a Premier League rival, and rightly so. So will he leave on a free transfer in 2024, or will he leave for Real Madrid, go there possibly for a year or two, win some trophies, come back to the English Premier League? Who knows? But I just know that he is desperate for that Premier League record. Of course, all-time leading goalscorer at Spurs, all-time leading goalscorer with the national side England, and of course he wants that Premier League record to beat Alan Shearer as well. But if I was Harry Kane, and I'll be very honest and frank about it, if I was Harry Kane, I would want a trophy or two in the cabinet before I retire. And I've no doubt that he will be thinking about that. But he has said openly a number of times that, you know, he feels fit, he feels on top of his game, and he feels that he can play football, you know, Premier League standard until the age of 40. So if he did go off to the likes of Real Madrid for a year or two, I've absolutely no doubt that he could come back to the Premier League at some point, whether it would be back at Tottenham, whether it be at Manchester United, or whether it would be at another club, and then complete that record as well and become the all-time leading goal scorer of the Premier League, breaking yet another record and, you know, perhaps winning a few trophies before that. And just very quickly on Hugo Lloris, he's come out and said it's the end of an era. I'm not at all surprised, really. I fully expect Hugo Lloris to leave. The one thing I do think is a shame, or two things actually. One, that he didn't win a trophy at Tottenham. And the other one is that his last ever appearance in a Tottenham Hotspur shirt, he went off at half-time at St James's Park when we were 5-0 down. What a way to end your Tottenham Hotspur career. But as I said, you know, players like this, you know, they should have won trophies at Tottenham without any doubt. Thanks for watching and thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed it. If you're watching this on YouTube, please do hit the subscribe button, like, share and comment below. And if you're listening to this on an audio platform, please do hit the follow button and leave a review if you can. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. I'll see you on the next one. Until then, come on you Spurs.